We had a whole bunch of stuff. Trees taken down, a whole bunch. Yeah. And even more. And two more piles of these taken down. Yeah. Okay, and then this one. This one. Well, it's actually from more than one tree. One was a crepe myrtle. I don't remember the other name. The other one. Hey everybody, this is Grace. And I wanted to finish a little video I started yesterday about I showed the limbs that were cut off two trees and yesterday. And the reason I made that was because there was a fourth one, but a fourth clip, but I deleted it, so I figured I better go and finish this up before I delete all of them by accident. I accidentally deleted that one. But anyway, have you ever, I mean, as somebody who, some call themselves empaths, you know, but there's a lot connected to it, highly sensitive people, and not just to, you know, things like I am, sensitive to so much, especially chemicals, medicines, stuff like that. But you kind of, in this part, you kind of know something is just not right that's going on, or in this case, when you sense that somebody is watching you, and you're at a place where nobody should be watching you. Well, nobody should be watching you anyway, but you see what I'm saying, when you kind of sense it, and you look around, and then you see why you sense it, okay? And it's this rather hot day out here. I'm feeling so much heat, and I'm sitting under what's left of a little shade from a tree. Whew, it's hot. I got my AC on, that's probably what you're hearing, and you're probably hearing it. Anyway, you get this sense, you know, you could be at work, you could be anywhere, shopping, whatever it is. You could even be at your own home, and you sense that somebody's watching you. Well, I had that sense, that feeling, and it wasn't somebody I would expect would be watching me, but basically I was sitting out in my home, in my house, in my SUV, like I am now. But I was sitting in the driveway and doing a video, okay? And I had that weird sense, or something. I don't even remember how it went. But I looked over, and I saw a neighbor's window open. Okay, the only thing that neighbor could see from there was me. Or I don't know why they would do that. Not the window, but the blinds. The window was shut. And I thought, well, maybe it was their dog, you know, had pushed it. And my dog does that, push the blinds, and he looks out, and, you know, so I just said, oh, well, whatever. But then, I guess sometime after that, you know, that was must have been in the winter, or around that time, and the trees started blooming, and really blooming, and I was thinking, well, that's good. Now, because I kept having to push my, to where, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. But anyway, not to be able to be seen, you know. And anyway, so the next thing I know, that neighbor was talking about, not to me, but to Adam, who's older than I, but you know, that two of the trees, they're afraid that two of the trees might harm their house. You know, like a limb might come off. These are not trees that limbs just suddenly fall off, but that they would hit their house, so we need to have them trimmed, which we did have them trimmed yesterday. And of course, you know, I had, you know, like, I had an uneasy feeling, and once they were trimmed up to what they wanted to, of course, you know, they could still see me sitting in my SUV. the blinds were shut. But, you know, that was just, I don't know, of course, I don't know. It just could be how I was seeing all of it, because I have had neighbors watch me. Believe me, I have had neighbors know when I was getting out into my SUV, and there was no way they would know that from where their house is. and they weren't outside watching, in front of they would have to be in front of my driveway, and nobody was there. And I've had that happen, and it continued to happen. There's a whole long story about that. That wound up basically, somebody was stealing my mail, and I called the post office, finally reached somebody, and they did an investigation, said somebody in the neighborhood was stealing my mail. So yeah, and I caught one of them that worked for the woman, walking right toward my mailbox, and the only thing that was there was my mailbox. And she saw me. I just walked to the door, and she saw me, and she just went the other direction. All of a sudden changed her path. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? And now, so this could just be, like I said, the dogs. They have dogs, like we have dogs, and they like to look out every once in a while if they hear something. And the trees, yeah, they could be concerned about the trees falling on their house. When it's really windy here anyway. And yeah, I saw that, but it was just something I could use as an example. Okay, but I have had that experience where I'm sitting now, and it was so weird. See what I'm seeing right here? Now, if you are a woman, and you want to go to sit at a park, which is legal to sit in your SUV at a park, would you want to be, get out and go be close to that? Okay, that's important. Now, that weird thing that happened was that I was sitting there where I just was sitting in my SUV making a video, and I've done this for years. And where the video camera was, I wasn't able to see this woman, like where you saw the sidewalk on the other side of the street. Well, I didn't see her walking down the sidewalk because the camera was in the way. And all of a sudden, when she got in front of me at the stop sign, was on the other side, but that place, she started videoing me, and taking pictures and videoing me. There was nobody there but me. Okay, she had it pointed just straight toward my SUV and me. And now, all the while that was happening, earlier before that, there was a man dressed in like he was going hunting, with a cap and all. And there was no place out here to go hunting, and he was walking down the sidewalk on my side from behind. Well, I thought it was kind of spooky, so I went around the corner, went around the block, and when I came back, he was gone. So, when I did come back and I parked, then he started coming up on the other side of the street on the sidewalk, while that woman started videoing me, and then she just kept walking straight. I'm like, oh my goodness. That was, you get that feeling that, okay, there's too much here. There's too much. And that's not all. There was so much more. And I made videos for it. And I put it on a different channel. I might transfer them again. I've transferred them so many times. Haven't made them public yet. So, upload them, download them, transfer them, or download them and transfer them, upload them, whatever. I'm just rambling over that. But yeah, I wanted to make a little video just about that. Have you ever experienced that? How do you feel? I mean, do you experience like something's not right, but you just don't know at first? And or, it just, somebody's watching me, and you're not paranoid, and you know that you have the tendency to be the total opposite. You notice the things, but you just say, oh, it's coincidence, like I did. When in fact, you have to see it more than once, then you realize it's not so coincidental, But another thing is, you never know if the person's actually doing it for a totally different reason, or maybe for you, something to help you. Really, I know that some people would say, well, you shouldn't think like that, they should ask your permission, and I agree. But sometimes, you just might not want to admit it. This is weird. That is something weird. Anyway, what about you? I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Talk to you on another video. Bye. I guess I could have said why about that, because maybe I'll get this out. Because see, right where I'm stopped right now, it was a bunch of woods and all this stuff, And see, there's the park. Now, you see what's behind the park? It's all these woods. And if somebody thinks I'm going to come to the park, get out, not park on the side of the street, and get out and sit there by myself, with all those woods there, they're crazy. You know, families and stuff, they come up there, that's fine. People that come up there with somebody else, that's fine. But to go, especially to be a woman, it can be a man, to go and sit out like somewhere like that, just because people don't like somebody sitting in their car at a park. Nobody said anything to me except for having my video taken and a man following me around. Or doing like I just explained. But no, that's why I filmed those woods part before. So I'm going to add it to it. Okay, it would be great if I finished all of this in one. But what I also want to say, like at the beginning of it, being watched, you know, feeling like the feeling I was being watched. And it could be that these people at the park, you know, that live near the park were thinking the same thing. If I ever felt like that, I would not live. I mean, I do feel like that. But if I were that type of person, how am I going to put that? If you're going to live next to a park, people are going to park there all times of the day or night. You're going to be sitting there watching out your window to see who's there and question if they're watching you. Because when I drove up to that park, there was somebody sitting there on the side of the street. There's quite often somebody just sitting in their car or SUV or whatever at that park. It's nothing unusual. You know, some people, they're just waiting on somebody. Some people are just sitting there talking on the phone like me. I'm making a video, but they don't know that. You know? But yeah, so I've had this dilemma in my mind. If I change those videos over to this channel, then it'll make more sense. But really, I mean, what kind of person's going to sit there all day to watch and see if somebody is watching them? You know, at a park. If you're in your own driveway and you get the sense and you see, that's a big difference. Big difference. What do you think? And now I ride the fence on this too, because I think, okay, if I see a car, somebody just sitting at the park and they're there like once or twice a week, I'd kind of wonder about it. Or would I? It's a park. It's a park where lots of people go and sit. And like I just said, are you going to monitor everybody? Don't live near a park. Seriously. Okay, there's so much to that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Hopefully. Talk to y'all later.